This is a simple level circuit that begins and ends at the same location. This is a circuit we call a benchmark leveling circuit. And I want to help you understand what the meaning of the columns are in this note form first. So look higher on this page and we're going to see some definitions that we need to understand. First, a station is the column heading we use for a location name. BS stands for backsite, and there are types of readings that we take. A rod reading at a location that has a known elevation is considered a backsite. A foresight, or abbreviated with FS, is a rod reading at a point where we don't yet know the elevation. It is an unknown to us. HI stands for height of instrument, and height in this context means the elevation of your line of sight, and that line of sight coincides with the level crosshair. We start our bench circuits from benchmarks, and that benchmark is a permanent point of known elevation. Now, we need some temporary reference points along the way, and we call those typically turning points. And it's really a point that we use to transfer an elevation, and it acts relatively like a short-term benchmark. A true benchmark, is a permanent point. But a short-term benchmark, if it's short-term only for the purpose of finishing a survey, could be a turning point. Now, the formulas that you see here at the bottom are very important. We're going to use these over and over. We're going to calculate heights of instrument and elevations. And we first calculate a height of instrument by using the elevation of a backsite point and the reading we take with the rod on that backsite point. An elevation is calculated for each foresight by using the appropriate HI, which is itself an elevation, and we subtract the foresight reading. So sometimes you will hear people referring to backsite readings as plus sites and foresight readings as minus sites. As we look at these level notes in the format shown here, you can see the 5 columns: station, backsite, HI, foresight, and elevation. We always put them in that order. And the location of any number, any reading that you see here, corresponds with not only a location, but the type of reading that it is. So the very first reading that we collect is this one here, 6.77, and it is a backsite on benchmark A. How do I know that? Well, it's in the backsite column on the benchmark A row. This reading of 511 right here is a foresight. Notice it's in the foresight column and it's on the turning point 2 row. Okay, so it is a foresight taken on turning point 2. These readings were taken in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have you noticed a pattern? We're zigzagging back and forth down the page. We go backsite, then foresight, backsite, foresight, and so forth. So here, benchmark D, I take a backsite, and that's my 7th reading, and then I take a foresight. Then I pick up the instrument and I move, just like I have in all of these, and I take a backsite, followed by a foresight. We said that to create an HI, we have to add the elevation where the rod is sitting on the backsite. We have to add that elevation to the backsite reading. So the sum of those two, you can see in this case, will be 106.77. Then I need to subtract from that HI, just as the page says just above here. I need to subtract from that HI the next foresight reading, which in this case is 4.23 feet. So I take 106.77 and I subtract 4.23 feet, and I get 102.54. That is the elevation where the rod sits on turning point 1. All right, then I'm simply going to repeat this process. Okay, I'm going to add to this turning point elevation the backsight rod reading when that rod is sitting on that turning point. And thus, I'm going to add to 102.54. I'm going to add, because it's a backsight, 7.45. And I get a result of 109.99. Okay? Well, repeating the same process, I'm going to subtract the next foresight. So I'm subtracting 5.11, and this yields a result of 104.88. Just like our readings zigzag back and forth down the page, so do our computations. So now I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to add this backsight reading because that rod reading, 707, occurs when the rod is still sitting on turning point 2. So 104.88 plus 7.07 plus 7.07 gives 111.95. Once again, I will subtract the foresight. And subtracting 3.48 gives a result of 108.47. Now, that is the computed elevation for benchmark D. You see, we knew the starting elevation at benchmark A. We know we should finish very close to that, but we did not know the elevation of benchmark D. That was the purpose for this little survey. So that's our computed elevation so far, but we don't know if it's right. We could have a blunder in these first 6 readings. So we're going to run our survey back to where we started, and if we end with an elevation, a computed elevation very close to our starting elevation, that means our errors are usually within an acceptable level. So let's just repeat this process. We're going to add the backsight reading to the backsight elevation, and 108.47 plus 1.12 gives 109.59. I'm going to subtract 8.35. That's the foresight, 8.35. And I get 101.24. One more time, I'm going to add that backsight elevation to the backsight reading, and that gives me plus 2.22, a result of 103.46, 103.46. And when I subtract 3.45, I think you can do this in your head, I get a result of 100.01. This shows that I have been able to measure out to benchmark D and return to benchmark A in such a way that I'm coming very close indeed, 1/100th of a foot, 0.01, to the starting elevation, meaning I have very small error. All right, so this is the computational process. Remember, backsights are added and foresights are subtracted. Like we say, some people call a foresight a minus sight, and a backsight is a plus sight. HIs and elevations are the things that you compute from the rod readings. We'll show you a few more tricks about interpreting level notes in the next video.